and it is officially Chicago Bears game week. And today, we're going to take a little trip to Clay's Corner, and we're going to talk about the 3 keys for the Bears to win this game. And the number one thing we got to start off with here is take away Justin Jefferson. This guy is the best receiver in the league. You have a young quarterback who's probably going to zone in on his number one target. Okay, TJ Hawkinson's still there at tight end, but you realize Jordan Addison's suspended for 3 games. Jalen Naylor hasn't practiced all camp. He has a wrist problem. So there is going to be some issues on the receiving core. We know they just signed Jordan Mason. We know they still have Aaron Jones to hand the ball off to, but they are not just going to be able to take over this game running. If you can take away Justin Jefferson, you take away J.J. McCarthy's biggest threat for big plays and to beat the Bears down the field. Let's take away Justin Jefferson, Dennis Allen. Hopefully Jalen Johnson's back. Roll some coverages to him, couple double teams, some brackets. Make sure you keep a safety over the top. If you can take away Justin Jefferson, you have a good chance of slowing down this high-powered Vikings offense. All right. And then number 2, pressure, 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 pressure. Both sides of the ball. Caleb Williams, you got to keep this guy clean. Caleb Williams is a much better quarterback when he's not being pressured. You have to handle Minnesota's pressure. They give you so many confusing looks. They got a really good defensive line. You got Jonathan Grenard, Andrew Van Ginkel. Andrew Van Ginkel, 11.5 sacks last year. Jonathan Grenard, 12.5 sacks last year. But they're bringing pressure from everywhere. Brian Flores is confusing. Listen to this. The last 2 games last year, when Brian Flores played against Caleb Williams, they pressured Williams a whopping 34 times in 2 meetings per Pro Football Focus, including 3 sacks by Jonathan Grenard himself. So take care of the pressure, keep Williams clean, and let him get out and make his decisions and be the player that we think he can be. How do you rattle a first-year quarterback? Yeah, he's not a rookie. J.J. McCarthy spent last year injured, got to learn the playbook. This is his first ever NFL football game. Number 1. How do you rattle a guy that's never played an NFL football game in an away stadium, a loud stadium, an electric Soldier Field crowd? You get pressure on him. I don't know if that's going to be coming from the interior, from Gervon Dexter maybe. Grady Jarrett has a big game. Maybe Montez Sweat, Dio Dangbo. You need to find a way to get pressure. And if you can't get it with your front 4, Dennis Allen needs to do what he does best, scheme up some defense. Dennis Allen, the last 4 years as a defensive coordinator, he had 2 years as a top 5 defense. This guy knows how to call defense. He knows how to get pressure. And the best way to confuse a rookie young quarterback to get him off his game is to get him under pressure. All right, number 1, this might sound simple. Stay ahead of the chains. How do you stay ahead of the chains? You run the football if you're the Chicago Bears. DeAndre Swift is a guy that you can count on. You've seen it with Ben Johnson before. The last 3 seasons, Ben Johnson coached as an offensive coordinator. He had a 1,000-yard rusher. I think DeAndre Swift has over 1,500 yards from scrimmage this year. I think he has a breakout year. Give it to him early and often, some short, quick, concise plays to get the ball moving, stay ahead of the chains. Guess what? Now Brian Flores isn't going to be able to confuse you like he does so well. You see the double mug A-gap stuff. You see the corner blitzes. You see the safety blitzes. He's not going to be able to do that if you are ahead of the chains. And this goes for the defense, too. If you can keep the Vikings in these long yard situations, they are not going to be able to pound the ball with Jordan Mason. They're not going to be able to pound the ball with Aaron Jones and this new offensive line. The Bears reconstructed their offensive line, and so the Vikings. They went to free agency. They got Ryan Kelly. They got Will Fries. They drafted Donovan Jackson in the 1st round. You got Brian O'Neill and Christian Darrisaw. This might be a top 5 offensive line. Don't let them take over the game by running the football. Keep them in long-distance situations where JJ is going to have to face confusing pressure looks. Keep the Bears offensively ahead of the chains so Caleb can do what he does best, so we can work in some of that play-action pass football that we all like, that we've seen from Ben Johnson in the past. Here's an interesting stat for you guys. Ben Johnson, when playing the Vikings, is averaging 30.5 points a game against Brian Flores. Will he be able to continue that success with a new team, new players, obviously a similar system? Will he be able to find those same holes and exploit them like he did when he was in Detroit with the Lions? Brian Flores, on the flip side of that, since joining the Vikings, is 3-1 against the Bears, and he's only giving up 16 points a game. That's when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. Somebody's got to win there. That is what I'm most looking forward to. And guess what? I'm going to give you guys a pick right here. I'm going to take this a lower scoring game. I'm going to take the Bears 23, the Vikings 17, Bears coming away with a week 1 win at home against a division rival.